Before we start, we need to take a step back and try and get to a place where we have a clear and unbiased perspective. Just about everything is politicized these days. We need to first realize that the question of God goes beyond politics. In fact, it goes beyond any man-made concept or notion, beyond everyone who has lived or will live, and beyond religion and the earth itself. We must keep this in mind when anyone approaches us on the subject, because in many cases it is only a means by which they will use to persuade you toward a social policy or political structure. Now let's address religion first. Religion on earth has been shaped by humans. To answer the question of God, we have to first realize that religion is not God. It may be a means by which to worship or learn about God, but it is a second-order question to be discussed separately. The question of God must come first, so for now we are not talking about religion. Why? Because for as much good as it has done in the world, there have also been times when some have used it for less than good ends. For example, religion has been used by politicians for millennia. Whether it's a state such as Soviet Russia or Mao's China that pushes the narrative of atheism that there is no God in order to make the state more important and thus supersede the individual. Or using religion as an excuse to eliminate political opponents such as Nazi Germany or the Spanish Inquisition. It is not religion itself that is necessarily the problem, but the way some can use it for political or selfish ends. For example, the Bible describes multiple times in which Jesus denounces some of the religious elite and their misuse or misinterpretation of religion. So, when it comes to the question of God, for the time being, we have to broaden our mind and move beyond religion. This is the earth. This is where everyone, the billions and billions of people who have ever lived and are living, reside. Every thought, every celebration, birth, death, bad medical prognosis, war, laugh and teardrop, everything that mankind ever was and is here. This is the sun. It is 93 million miles from the earth. It would take 1 million Earths to fill the sun, and now we are starting to get perspective on our place in creation. This is our solar system. It is 5.88 trillion miles long. The fastest man-made object we have launched into space is the Helios 2 spacecraft, with a speed of 157,078 miles per hour. It would take roughly 6,759 years for Helios 2 to reach the edge of our solar system, and our solar system is a little dot that lies here in our Milky Way galaxy. How big is our galaxy? It's so big we no longer describe it in miles. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. Yes, I will repeat that. 186,000 miles per second. So how big is our galaxy? It takes light 100,000 years moving at 186,000 miles per second to cross the galaxy. Now look at that picture again. Every dot that makes up the galaxy represents a sun and solar system like our own. How many are there? Somewhere between 100 billion and 400 billion stars, and the nearest one to us is 4.2 light years away. So it's big, frankly, incomprehensibly big. Now here's something amazing. And up until 1923, we were awed that our universe was this big. It was almost unfathomable. Then in 1924, Edwin Hubble discovered the Andromeda Galaxy, 2.52 million light years away. So you could fit over 25 Milky Way galaxies in that empty space between us and the nearest galaxy. That means our galaxy was no longer everything, and overnight the universe became many, many times larger. 1923, that's not that long ago. You know what's also not that long ago? 1995. Look at this picture taken by Hubble. We sent the Hubble telescope into space in 1990 to study distant galaxies, and it took pictures similar to that one. Then in 1995, scientists thought it would be interesting to look at a part of the sky where there was nothing. Maybe we could see the end of space. So they picked this tiny little empty square in Hubble's field of vision. Guess what they found? They did not see the end of the universe. They saw 10,000 more galaxies in this tiny little square of the night sky. This was 1995. We thought we had a really good grasp, and in 1995, the universe was expanded by another unimaginable amount. We could go on as space gets even more amazing than this, but I think you get the point. We are small, and the question of God transcends. Now, there are many that will have difficulty visualizing the vastness of space. For those of us that do, here is an example closer to home. Researchers at the University of Hawaii have calculated the number of grains of sand on the Earth to be 7,500,000,000,000 grains. A 2003 estimate of the number of stars in the observable universe is calculated to be 70,000 million stars. So there are many times more stars than grains of sand on our world. Now imagine if I told you that one of these grains of sand represented the sun, and that your purpose in life was to find that grain of sand somewhere in the world. What are the odds? And just a side note, remember the sun is 1,000,000 times the size of the Earth. So again, the concept and question of God supersedes everything on the little speck called Earth in the universe. So with this perspective, we can see the question of God is bigger than any person, religion, or anything that has ever happened on Earth. That means capitalism, socialism, all the isms, skin color, creed, language, wealth, status, or fame. In fact, everything melts away in importance. The series that follows will address this question. The question, does God exist, and what that means to us all.